3 weeks ago, as Southeastern went into their bye week, we talked about the Lions having a 5-game season remaining with all of their goals ahead of them. Well, Southeastern has kept up their end of the bargain by winning the first 2 of the 5-game stretch by defeating Stephen F. Austin by 17 in Strawberry Stadium this past Saturday. Southeastern dominated up front, rushing for over 200 yards, and Southeastern's high-flying offense was efficient, scoring over 40 points for the 4th time this year. Defensive back Orlando Jordan added a pick 6 against the Lumberjacks, and this was the 3rd time this year that Jordan has taken one to the house on an interception, a new school record. Well, the next hurdle is Southeastern, and Southeastern's way is certainly a tough one, as Southeastern will be on the road to take on the 6th-ranked UCA Bears in Conway, Arkansas on Saturday. The Bears currently sit 1 game ahead of the Lions in the standings and are coming off a big win over Lamar this past weekend. Good evening, Lion fans. I'm Alan Waddell, and I want to welcome you to Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented, as always, by the Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction, live from our home, Topla Catering, right here in Hammond. Thank you so much for joining us, wherever you may be tonight, whether on the Lions Radio Network or certainly watching live on the Southeastern Sports Network through YouTube. We'll be with you until 8 o'clock, and over the next hour, we'll get Coach Scelfo to break down the big win against SFA and get you ready for UCA this weekend. Also, offensive line coach Joe Scelfo is here, and we'll hear from him. But first, let's take a break. When we come back, I'll be joined by the head football coach of your Southeastern Lions, Frank Scelfo. Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo is presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Stay with us, everyone.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student-athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student-athlete.
All right, welcome back to Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla right here on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Thank you for joining us here tonight. At this time, we're going to welcome to the show the head football coach of your Southeastern Lions, Coach Frank Scelfo. Coach, thanks for being here tonight. Congratulations on a big win against SFA this past Saturday.
That was good. Thanks to everybody here, and thanks to everybody that showed up here on Saturday, man. It was a great atmosphere. The weather was awesome, and the kids played well, so it was good. It was a good atmosphere for us.
We're going to be here with you till 8 o'clock. We've got a lot of exciting things for you. We're going to break down the game against SFA. We'll get you ready for a big one against Central Arkansas this Saturday. We're also going to hear from Joe Scelfo, offensive line coach. He's here. And we do a giveaway every week. We got a cool one this week. We're going to give away season tickets to the Lion basketball this year. So
that's awesome.
2 season tickets. We're going to give them away to some lucky fan that is here in attendance. So we're going to do
That's
that here
awesome.
on our
They're
program.
exciting. They're going to be exciting this year. I know. Talking to Ayla and David both, they're excited about their season, their squads, and wish Ayla good luck tonight. I think David and them open up Wednesday at Tulane, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so good luck to them.
No doubt about it. Well, Coach, we sat here a few weeks ago talking about coming out of that bye. You had 5 games at kind of a second season. All of your goals were in front of you. And you had to, play well these last 5. Well, you've come out, you beat Houston Baptist last week, and then came out and won by 17 against Stephen F. Austin this past week at home. So you've put yourself in an opportunity for a big one on Saturday against the Central Arkansas Bears, who's first in the conference. But first, let's talk about this SFA game. We knew they were going to come in here and play hard. They're in year 1 under a new head coach, a coach that has a national championship under his belt in Division II. They're playing a lot of young kids. This was a little different 1-7 football team because they're still playing for a lot. They're trying to turn that program around, and you saw that the way they played on Saturday.
Yeah, we did. And I talked to him after the game and complimented him on how hard his kids played. When you look at a team that's 1-7 and they lose by 17, even to the end of the game, they were playing hard. So he's going to have them going in the right direction. That's going to be a team to reckon with in the near future. And, I think it's like everybody else in this conference. You got an opportunity to win. You got to bring it. Those last 4 or 5 games in there that they've played this year, I think Stephen F. Austin has gotten considerably better every week. And it's finally he's settling in on the players that he feels comfortable with and what he's doing and how he's doing things. So, at the end of the day, it's a good win for us. It's behind us now, and I know we're going to talk about it a little bit tonight, but it's behind us, and then we're going to move forward with UCA.
Coach, this was the first time in your tenure here at Southeastern that we ran the football for more yardage than we threw it for. We came into this game.
Well, good. That's celebrated. That's awesome.
We came into this game actually leading the conference in passing yardage per game, but what they did defensively kind of dictated what you had to do offensively, as they were really playing soft in the secondary. They didn't want to let anything over your head. And I think the word that comes to my mind from just watching that game was I thought your offense was efficient. They didn't give up a lot of big plays, but you were able to keep the chains moving. And, again, you rushed for 222 yards against SFA.
Well, Alan, early on they showed their hand. We were going to take some shots. And we tried to get Austin and CJ and Branson down the middle a couple of times. And the way they were playing, it just wasn't giving it up. So we threw a lot of stuff to the backs. Devontae had, 11 catches?
Yeah.
So he had 11 catches coming out of the backfield the other night. Then when things like that happen, we got to be patient. But where I really got to compliment our offense on, and Greg and the entire offensive staff, is we had no pre-snap penalties. So that didn't take us outside the chains. We were able to grind it out and pick up some third downs. And even though we weren't great on third down, it put us in a position to go for it on fourth, which we were. We were 3 for 3 on fourth downs. And that allowed us to keep the drives alive. We got big enough chunks where we didn't have that 17-play drive, but we had some 10, 11-play drives, and that kept the ball out of their hands, and then we got points. I think when you talk about efficient, we had the ball 4 possessions in the first half, scored on 3 of them, and total 9 possessions for the game and scored 6 touchdowns. So, when you're 6 for 6 in the red zone and all 6 of them are touchdowns, you're not trading touchdowns for field goals. You're going to win games, and that's why I think we really did a good job of that in those situations.
I noticed certainly you just mentioned it, a lot of throws out of the backfield to our backs. Devontae had 11 catches. I know Teron Jones had a few catches, Marcus Cooper as well. We also ran a lot of speed sweeps, kind of to the boundary. Is that something y'all saw on tape that y'all wanted to get to the edge of these guys and make their corners ready to tackle?
Defensively, and I think you saw it in the run game. A lot of the runs that were designed to go inside bounced, and it was the way they were playing. But when you're getting the secondary guys to get out of there so much to take care of the deep stuff, to protect themselves against our guys going over the top, it softens them on the edge. So that's why I say I think our offensive staff really did a good job in-game adjustment early on in the process. And guys, we got some really good yardage on the perimeter. We opened up the second half with Lorenzo coming around the left edge and, for a big play. So it was I think our staff really did a good job throughout the course of the game. You'll talk to Joe here. He's upstairs in the box along with Greg. They're seeing everything, talking it all on the way down, and then, getting all the adjustments made on the sideline.
We talked a couple of weeks ago about defensively you wanted to cause some more turnovers. You did that in this game. You had a pick six. Orlando Jordan's actually his third pick six of the year. That's actually a new school record.
How awesome is that? You know, that was just, that guy's always said you gotta put yourself in a position to make a play. And some people do that, but you have to actually make the play too, and that's what he's doing right now. So
that was a big play in the game. I mean, they were still trying to get back in the game, had a little momentum right there.
Yeah. You know, and we got the 2 picks. We had 2 forced fumbles. We didn't get either one of them, but we caused 2. We're going to get them. We just got to keep punching them out and stripping, and we work on it every week, and we'll keep doing that. So they'll come. We'll get some more of those.
Coach, some young guys had to play in the secondary in this game because some other guys weren't available. Talk about maybe some of those younger guys that got in there. I know that we saw some freshmen out there playing in this game.
It's pretty cool to watch. You know, you bring in – it's always fun in recruiting. You evaluate guys and you start coaching them when you bring them in and developing them, and you watch them grow. You really don't want to play as many of them as we're playing, but we're playing them because they're the best ones. They give us the best chance to win. But DeJean was out. Lynch, he was out for a second game. Derek Turner was out. So Dontrell Smith was the guy that had to go in. And then Xavier Lewis got hurt. He was out for an extended period of time. And then so we moved Philando in and kept Dontrell out at the corner. Chantrell Spates was at the other corner. And so we had a lot of new faces back there. We gave up a lot of yardage in the pass game, but we were vanilla for a while because of all the changes that we made back there. But this week will be better. We'll have those guys back, and we'll see how it goes. 3
more sacks defensively, so you did affect the quarterback.
How about that, man? That was, when we get after the quarterback, and we talk about it all the time about affecting the quarterback and protecting the quarterback. We got 3 sacks, and we got 4 pressures, and I couldn't tell you how many hurries, but we gave up 0 sacks.
Yep.
And when you look at that, I think we're second in the conference as far as sacks given up. Might be first.
I think you're
first or second as far as sacks given up, and it's a tribute to what we're doing. Last year we were last in the conference, so it has a whole lot to do with Coach Hop and Scelfo doing the things that they do up front with our offensive line, understanding who they have, and
we're first in the conference.
We're first in the sacks given up. Good. And, but that's a tribute to our guys, development of our players. The same players, a lot of the same players, but we're developing them, we're coaching them, we're doing a better job teaching them what to do.
Coach, obviously this is a good problem to have, but both of your quarterbacks are playing well and playing at a high level. Both played well in this game. I mean, how do you decide who's going in? I mean, obviously Chasen's the starter. He plays the majority of the snaps, but we saw that Cole had a couple of series in this game and played well when he was in there.
Yeah, people think I'm crazy, but the way we decide is Dr. Crane calls down during the game and says, put Cole in. Okay, take Cole out, put Chasen in. Take Chasen out, put Cole in. And we do it like that, Alan. I mean, it's just it's really easy. When the boss calls from up above, you answer and you get it done.
All right, there's your answer, I guess.
That's the answer. That's it. Everybody thinks I'm kidding. That's what it is. No, we got things designed for both of those guys. They're like any other position. I've never believed that you have to have one guy. Everybody becomes a leader on your football team because everybody can help others. Our leaders have to help others, and that's what the leadership position does. And the quarterback position is the one that has to provide the most leadership. And both of those guys, the team has embraced both of them and their roles, and they've embraced their roles. And early on, Cole was more of a situational guy, third down, short yardage, things like that. And then now he's starting to grow more, and we're able to get him more snaps. Chasen has embraced. He's played very well.
Yep.
He has embraced Cole coming into the game. He's his biggest supporter on the sidelines. So, it's a good situation to have. It's good. It's not a problem. It's not a good problem to have because it's not a problem. It's a good situation for us to be in to be able to help develop those guys.
And just to let our fans know how well they're both playing, right now Cole's actually he hasn't thrown as many passes, but he's number 1 in the conference in efficiency, and Chasen's 4th. So we have 2 of the top 4 quarterbacks in efficiency in the league right now, playing at a very high level.
Well, Greg's doing a good job coaching those guys, and just getting them ready, preparing them with the game plan, putting them in a position to be successful.
Lions win 47-30 over Stephen F. Austin. This is Inside Southeastern Football. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll walk through this game, talk about some of the big plays. We'll get Coach to comment on them right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
What opportunity has Southeastern provided you that you will forever be thankful for?
Southeastern's giving me the education I need for my future. Whether or not I go pro, I know I'm going to be successful.
Welcome back. Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Lions win 47-30 over Stephen F. Austin this past weekend as Lions move. Lions move to 5-3 overall, 4-2 in the league. Certainly, the Southland Conference is very jumbled. We're going to talk about that more later on in our program. But it was a big win. Kept Southeastern all their goals right there in front of them. And Coach, let's talk a little about this game. Let's kind of walk through it. And certainly the start you got off to was big. You come out, you force a quick not turnover, but where they have to punt the football to us, and then we go 12 plays, 85 yards, and jump on top early. And especially when you have a team that come in that has been struggling a little bit, I think it's big to start early and get ahead of them to where they don't have as much, I guess, belief at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, the momentum is always an important thing, especially when you play at home. But I thought our guys came out ready to play early in the process, and we did a good job. We took care of the football. The one turnover was right in a 2-minute drive right before half. Other than that, we did a good job. Stayed away from penalties.
Big interception early by Xavier Lewis as well.
We did. It looks like the guy broke off a route, and the quarterback didn't expect it and basically threw it right to him, took it back in, and then we were able to take advantage of that. And, you get 2 quick touchdowns in the first quarter, and you're up 13-0. You feel really good about what's going on. But I think what I really felt was on the sidelines, you could feel the energy. Yeah. From the time we said it in pregame when we went in off the field. Sometimes you kind of go, oh, boy, I don't know if we're ready this game. This one you felt good about. You felt really good that the guys were locked in and had a lot of energy and, a lot of confidence going into this thing.
Coach, I know that you've been really fond of Ed McGee, a true freshman, and he got his first touchdown this week on a running play, actually. Handed to him on a speed sweep. And I know that you're excited, not only that he's a local product right here from Kentwood. I know that this was a guy that you were really excited about signing on signing day. But, he brings a physicality to that receiving core, and he's only going to get bigger and stronger as he's here.
Yeah, he's just a puppy, Allen. He doesn't even – it took him a month to find the cafeteria and the locker room and everything else. But, gosh, he works his tail off. He brings so much energy. He's exactly what we wanted. He's a great kid. He's like I said, he's from right up the road in Kentwood. And he's a great kid, great addition. He was able to learn the playbook, get involved with us, and be able to get him some playing time. And he's executing what we need him to do. He's playing 25, 30, 35 snaps a game, which you look at Austin and CJ, those guys can't continue to play 60 and 70 snaps. So those snaps had to go somewhere. And then when Jawan went out, now you got JJ getting too many snaps. So now you got Ed coming in there, being able to take up some of that slack, and it's really helped out everybody.
You just brought him up, and I know I had a few people ask me, so Jawan, is he done for the season?
Well, we're going to go get a second opinion tomorrow. He's going to go see another doctor tomorrow and kind of get an idea of where he is, what the injury is, what the prognosis is, what they recommend, not only for this season, but, for Jawan's long-term health.
Right.
So the whole everything is going to be dictated, and we'll make a decision, and Jawan will make a decision along with his family based on what he feels like is the best thing for him. And it might be coming back. We'll find out tomorrow. We'll have a better idea after tomorrow.
Coach, we did have a couple of problems in some PATs, and I know that this summer we've been pretty good all year, but talk about what happened. I know we had was it a snap? Was it a hold or on that first one? And then on the block, the kick looked to come out a little low.
Yeah, on the first one, I think the snap was slightly high, but it could have been handled. So that's a 50-50 deal. We got to do a better job snapping. We got to do a better job catching and getting it down, and that cost us a point. And then the next one was just a low kick. Bryce just didn't get up underneath it and just kicked it low. He was good the rest of the time. So it's unfortunate, but we've got to be more consistent. This week we can't leave points on the field. We got an opportunity to get points. We got to get points, and he's got to be able to do that. So we worked on him. I was excited to hear about the guy that kicked the 40-yard field goal at half.
That was wild, huh?
Yeah, we heard it in the locker room. It was loud, man. Everybody.
They had a promotion. For those that don't know what we're talking about, they had a promotion at halftime, and student drilled a 40-yarder.
Yeah. So we contacted him today and see if he could do. We did.
That's
we
not a
we're going
joke.
to get him out. It's not a joke, and we got him to compliance, but unfortunately he's only in 10 hours, so he's not a full-time student, and we can't use him. And then, but hey, look,
hey, they're always looking.
We're looking. We're always looking. They're walking on campus. We're going to talk.
I mean,
to
you've
them.
been around football a long time. I mean, a 40-yard field goal. I mean, that's
a good kick,
in your street
man.
clothes off the bit.
Yeah, and I don't know what he was doing at the pregame. I mean, I'm sure he didn't walk right in there just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So. But he kicked it, man. Everybody was fired up about it. So we contacted him, but if he was a full-time student, he'd have had a shot today. That tells everybody stay in school.
Everybody's laughing.
Man.
It's not a joke.
Yeah, y'all think I'm kidding. This is really true. But it just tells you to stay in school. Don't drop classes. Stay in school.
Coach, let's talk about a big sequence. I thought right before the half, you had a 13-0 lead in this game. They kind of made it a little tighter and had an opportunity to get it really tight after we had an unfortunate turnover where the ball gets tipped in the air on a ball that Branson probably catches 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
It bounces in the air. They get a turnover. But they get the ball inside of our 10-yard line. You hold them to a field goal. You stayed up by 2 possessions going to the locker room. It could have been 19-14 at half, but 19-10 was their deficit at that point. That was a big sequence, I thought.
Yeah, it felt good. That was, and again, it goes back to our maturity and what's going on in our locker room, Alan. Offensively, we turn it over. And defense didn't flinch. They didn't blame anybody, point fingers, any of that stuff. They just said, it's us. Let's go out there. Let's do what we got to do and keep them out of the end zone. And that's what they did. Like I said, when you trade field goals for touchdowns, you're going to end up winning those things. And we're able to hold them to a field goal, and while we were scoring touchdowns, and that created the gap. But our defense never blinked for 1 second on that deal. It's just so good to see and watch it take place.
Coach, you mentioned that we were 6 of 6 in the red zone, and all 6 of those were touchdowns. That's certainly winning football, no doubt about it. And I think that moved us. I'm trying to find it here in the stats, but I think we're number 1 in the conference right now in red zone efficiency.
We are. I think we're in the top 10 in the country, to tell you the truth. We're really good. We're in the 94% right now when you look at that thing. But and
we haven't kicked a lot of field goals.
We have. Well, we kicked 6. I think we're 6 out of 7 on field goals this year. And really, the only red zone that we didn't was Houston Baptist. We missed a field goal there that day. But I think our touchdown ratio to possession in the red zone is very good. And then us scoring points once we get on there is very good.
Yeah,
also.
31 trips to the red zone this year, 23 touchdowns, 6 field goals, so 93.5%, but 23 touchdowns out of 31 possessions
really good.
Are pretty good. And look, it's no secret. We've been using it all year, but the package where Cole comes in and runs the football on short yardage, this was an area that we struggled a year ago, really, in those 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 situations, and our efficiency in those types of situations have really been good. And I know we're going to talk with Joe, so, I mean, that's not just a one-guy thing. Obviously, the guy running the football is a big guy, but the offensive line is playing at a much higher level.
We're playing more vertical off the line of scrimmage. I think that's the toughness that, Joe has brought and A.J. has brought, that we're able to come off the football and get more vertical on the line of scrimmage and take the line of scrimmage. We were just too lateral last year, and we got pushed back into the backfield. So we're able to compete in there. We're going in there fighting. And it's a mindset that our guys have to have on short yardage situations. You got to be able to say we're going for it on 4th down and pick those up.
Lions win this one 47-30. Before we turn the page on this game, I know we had Alex Huzar played a lot at linebacker, a lot of young guys on defense, and this game also created some situations that we had to defend an onside kick in this game. So certainly some situations that happened in this game that I know you can practice as much as you want, but until you get those younger guys out there, which are having to play a lot here down the stretch, and then again defending those type of situations are certainly big.
Yeah, and Herm Kristoff and Alex Huzar are the 2 backup backers, and both of them played multiple over 20 snaps each. And it wasn't because the other guys were not playing well. They've been practicing well, and we said put them in there. Let's let them go, and they did, and they did a good job. And I think when you look at that, the guys that we did play, Javante Powers is one of our best cover guys on punt and kickoff, and he did a great job. He's a true freshman. Gerald Henderson got in there on kickoff during the game. He's a true freshman. So we played some guys this week. You still get 4 games to redshirt guys, and we're trying to get as many guys as we can in there, get them some game experience. If we got to use them like Ed McGee, he's not redshirting, and Alex isn't going to redshirt, or Herm, but they've got 3 more years left. But things happen during that 3-year period of time that, you might have that opportunity to get that year back. But we're going to play the guys that help us win, and the guys that work their tails off during the week, Monday through Friday, and those are the ones that will be out there on Saturdays.
I don't know if I've asked you this before, but that 4-game redshirt rule has certainly changed the way coaches are looking at how they play kids and how they kind of schedule for maybe what game that they're going to get them in. I mean, talk about maybe some of that. And you're getting a lot of true freshmen in there and still have an opportunity to redshirt them.
Yeah, roster management I think has really become critical from the standpoint of not playing a guy too soon. Play him when he's ready, and we've kind of taken that approach. When somebody's ready to play, we're getting them in there and they're playing, because if you play them before they're ready to play, you kind of just wasted them. So we're getting them ready to play. They're playing. Kendall Collins is a good example. He's played in 2 games now and really played well. But we didn't need him this past week. It was okay. But we've got 3 more games, and we might need him in those 3 games, and so we got to really be careful on that. We got some other kids that we're looking to. We're either going to get on special teams, or just going to play outright, or just going to hold off. So a lot of it has to do with that injury situation too. We might lose a guy or two. Where Dontrell Smith is a good example of that. He was a guy we had scheduled to play, but then we had some injuries early. And we had to put him in there. Now he's playing full-time and playing every week. So, it just depends. There's a lot of different situations. But I think the 4-game redshirt rule is really brought in, from a roster management standpoint.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get to a break. Before we go, this next guest coming up?
Yeah. Been knowing him for a while.
We're going to talk with offensive line coach Joe Scelfo when we come back right here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. All right, welcome back. Inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo is presented, as always, by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. I'm Alan Waddell. I'm now going to be joined by offensive line coach Joe Scelfo. As Coach, thanks for coming by and spending some time with us. As first year here at Southeastern, second year coaching, as you just got done playing a couple of years ago, as played at South Alabama and then North Carolina State. You were at North Carolina State a year ago and had an opportunity to come to Hammond. And I guess give us your initial thoughts of what's your first year in Hammond's been like.
So at first, I was very excited to get back down to this location of the country. Spent 7.5 years here growing up, and then I kind of got pulled away for a little bit and just thrilled to be back in this part of the country. First stepping foot on campus, I was just amazed. This is, in my opinion, it's a gold mine. I was just shocked by the support of the community. Kind of everywhere you go, it's green and gold, and that's something that's kind of underappreciated, I guess, sometimes in other programs because it's not always like that. I've seen a lot growing up and playing, and the two places that I did play at, the support here is parallel to that, and it's incredible, just a love and support of the community of Hammond.
No doubt about it. We're talking with Coach Joe Scelfo, and certainly your title on line. I mean, I keep saying offensive line coach. You work with the guards and the centers, but basically you and AJ Hobb work really close together. Talk about that relationship a little bit, and I guess the dynamics of how that relationship works as really y'all are both coaching the offensive line.
The past year, I mean, I can honestly say he's probably grown closer to one of my best friends, which is awesome. And we believe in the same thing. Where if he says something in the meeting room and then he leaves and I walk in and I say the same thing, we're on the exact same page, which is awesome. I've learned a tremendous amount from him. We go out there and I don't think you can ever question me and AJ's passion for the game. We have fun with what we're doing. We're on the same page. We care. We'll put in however many hours you ask us to put in. Our main goal is just for those guys to be prepared because that's where their confidence comes from. And technique and fundamentals, we're on the same page. We've had our fair, conversations, but at the end of the day, when we leave our meeting room and go into that meeting room with the guys, we're on the same page.
And one of you're in the booth and he's on the field, so you both you have different perspectives during the game.
Yeah, I see things different, and he sees it, right there on the field. So his emotions are all into the game, where I'm a little removed, where I get to see a bird's eye view of it. I mean, after every series, we're talking, we're communicating, we're making adjustments. We're trying to get better every single series, make our corrections and move forward. And this past weekend, we made a few corrections that were crucial to our success up front. And that's just me and him being on the same page and studying together throughout the week and knowing exactly what's going to be thrown out there. And if it's anything we haven't seen, then we just get it cleaned up and go on to the next series.
Certainly good timing to have you on our program coming off of a game where you rushed for over 200 yards, 34 rushes for 222 yards, kept the quarterback clean as well. Talk about how your group played this past week against SFA? Obviously, that's some impressive numbers.
Yeah, I think it was. I think they played hard. I think when you watch tape, you see five guys that are playing together on the same page that are having fun with it, and they're going to the right guy and they're getting vertical push, and that's something that we stress every single day, and it starts with individual. And they take a great amount of pride in being an offensive lineman because I'm sure you guys, I don't even know if you guys know the starting five unless they've got a penalty. So that's kind of how it is. That's how it works. And they're just a bunch of blue-collar guys who love what they do and they take pride in their jobs. And they did an outstanding job on Saturday at Strawberry Stadium. And me and Coach Hop are extremely proud of them, proud of what they've accomplished this season so far. And they're a special group of young men.
Certainly offensively, it's been a good year for Southeastern. We still got 3 big games to go, but put up some big numbers. We talked about some of the efficiency numbers as number 1 in the conference right now in red zone efficiency. Certainly that all goes back to the offensive line, and also number 1 in the league in sacks allowed. So you've given up the least amount of sacks in the Southland Conference. Big-time improvement we've seen across the board, and certainly the numbers that are being put up this year compared to a year ago, that offensive line is just so much better.
Coach Stevens and Coach Scelfo do a great job of helping us put our guys in the best situation to be successful. We never want to ask a guy to do something that they're at a disadvantage of, and I think that comes from having 2 offensive line coaches because you're getting 4 eyes and 4 ears out there every single day, and we have to do a great job to put our guys in the best situation to be successful. And they're playing at a high level, and Coach Stevens is I mean, he's a spectacular offensive coordinator. He's a brilliant man, and under his leadership and Coach Scelfo's leadership, we got to get the guys on the same page, and we're doing a good job with it.
We're talking with Coach Joe Scelfo here, offensive line coach here for Southeastern Louisiana University, and I know that we see the guys that are in the rotation. We're playing about 6 or 7 guys pretty consistently up front, but talk about maybe some of those younger guys that aren't really getting thrown in the fire as much this year, but are guys that we will see in the next couple of years. Maybe talk about some of those guys that are progressing.
Brennan Landclose is from Lakeshore High School. He's a 6'6", redshirt freshman tackle. He's progressing daily. He's seeing the older guys and seeing what they're what we're able to get out of them, and he wants to be part of that group, and that's awesome that there's always going to be some competition in that aspect. Brendan Kelly from Pine, you'll never question that kid's effort, and that's what's going to give him a shot one day. I think he's going to be good. He's just got to continue to progress. And Caleb Hogg's younger, but he's doing a really good job. Tyree Rhodes from New Orleans is doing a really good job as well. But that's the future. And as much time as we spend with the older guys, you have to spend a good amount of time with the younger guys, because one day, I mean, they're only a couple plays away. But they're all doing a good job. They're buying into what we're teaching. And you can see every single day they're taking steps forward. Jalen Bell, junior college transfer, we're excited about his future here. Keanu Mukini's from California, excited about his future here. You just got a bunch of guys that love being here, and that's all you can ask for those kids, and they're going to have a bright future.
I got to ask you about UCA, the opponent for this weekend. I know that you have started on those guys and getting ready for the game on Saturday, and it's a big one. And I know you're just a couple of years from playing, and certainly as a competitor, you want to be playing meaningful games in November, and we're doing that. A big game this Saturday against UCA. Talk about maybe some of the challenges they bring to the table defensively that your offensive line will have to prepare for.
I mean, they're a really good football team. Don't take anything away from them, but so are we. And we're confident in our abilities. And, I mean, they got some good players inside and outside with the defensive line. Their linebackers play hard. They play fast, and they're physical. But like I said, so are we. So we're not going to back down from anybody. And that's the attitude that we're going to have the rest of the season. And don't see that changing with UCA.
That's Coach Joe Scelfo, offensive line coach here for Southeastern Louisiana University. Coach, thanks for stopping by and spending some time with us. And good luck this weekend against the Bears of UCA.
Thank you.
All right. He has a short trip home. He lives across the street, so he'll just walk across there. Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Stay with us. All right, welcome back inside Southeastern Football with Coach Frank Scelfo. It's presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topla right here on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network, as we're going to welcome back Coach Frank Scelfo to the stage. And Coach, I know you're really excited to have Joe on your staff. I mean, look, you come from a family of coaches, and an opportunity. Your son's in coaching, and now your nephew's in coaching here. I guess talk about that relationship and what it's like being able to coach with your family, and an opportunity to get him, because I know that Joe, as a young man, is certainly. He has a lot of credentials and thought of very highly in the football world. I know that you were excited to get him here.
Yeah, think about this. He played at South Alabama, was a starter there. Then he graduated and said, you know what, I want to try something new. Transferred to North Carolina State, was recruited by a lot of schools, transferred to North Carolina State, became a team captain and a starter in 1 year, or one spring. And so that tells you how much his teammates think about him, because that's what happens, from inside the locker room is where it happens from. And, he's grown up around the game. He knows the game. He understands the process that we go through. He understands the things that we have to do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, in the off season, recruiting. He has a fantastic job for us in recruiting. He's diligent. He stays on top of these guys. He's able to relate to them, in a way that he just finished playing. So he can talk to him in those terms, and he's going to open a bunch of doors for us. He's doing a good job right now on the recruiting road. And obviously his numbers, what we're doing offensively with the offensive line, that's showing up as far from a credibility standpoint. So I couldn't be happier than what's going on with him right now, man.
Coach, maybe people look and say, 2 offensive line coaches. You don't see that all the time. Talk about that decision to do that, and obviously it's working. So talk about the decision, and what was your foresight, I guess, into doing that and having 2 guys that's really focused on that position.
Yeah, when I was in Jacksonville, we had 2, Alan, and I saw it, and Joe said it a while ago. You have 4 eyes, and it's really the position where you really need 2 guys. You got 5 guys, and there's so many moving parts that take place. And there's so much individualized attention that needs to be placed on those 5 guys. And when you got 1 guy doing it, there's a lot of things that go unnoticed, some of the details. And I'm an attention to detail guy. And I felt like, when Doug Marone was our offensive line coach here, and we had another guy there with him. And those 2 guys did such a good job from a detailed standpoint. And that's at the NFL level. And when I had the opportunity to come here, I said, I'm going to make sure I get 2 guys there. And then also, if you do lose somebody, you have somebody there that knows the system, that knows the players, and we just move in, and the next guy comes in, and we keep going in the same place. So there's some continuity, which I think was lacking. So now we have some continuity across the board there, and because it's so important. That position obviously is the most. Besides the quarterback position, probably the most important position on the field, and you got to be great at it. And it's sometimes you speak as the quarterback or the running back, but you don't talk about the tackle. You talk about the offensive line. It's just 1 guy, but there's 5 bodies out there that they have to work as one. So it's a critical position. That was a huge hire for me to be able to get AJ in. He had worked with my brother Chris at Houston, which is Joe's dad, and then obviously get Joe in and have those guys being able to do those things. They're both fundamental guys, and that's what I wanted from a teaching standpoint.
Colton, let's pop up the Southland Conference standings if you have them, as we're going to take a look at this real quick. As certainly this thing is a jumbled up mess. Coach,
it's awesome,
tell you,
man.
There's 3 teams right now at 4-3. There's 3 at 4-2, and then Central Ark, who you play this week, at 5-1.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of meaningful games in November, like I was just talking to Joe about just a moment ago. And you have a big one this weekend. At Central Ark, you have an opportunity to put them down in the jumbled up mess, I guess, to give them their second.
Bring them back to the rest of us, right?
But it's a 3 o'clock kickoff over there. This is a team that they've had a very good year. They're 7-2 overall. They're 5-1 in the league. They're up to number 6 in the country this week in the national polls. They have a big out of conference win at Austin Peay, who's playing well. And they also have
Kentucky.
And they have an FBS
They beat
win.
Western Kentucky early in the year.
And they beat Western Kentucky, one of the few FCS over FBS wins in the country this year.
Right.
They beat those guys 35-28. Their 2 losses, they came at Hawaii, and then Nichols got after them a few weeks ago, 34-14. But they've won 4 games since that point. They beat McNeese 40-31, Northwestern 31-30, Sam Houston 29-25. They trailed Sam Houston 19-0 at halftime and came back and won that game. And then they poured it on Lamar last week, 45-17. And I think the thing that jumps out to me when I'm watching Central Ark is that they've just found ways to win. They have 2 31-30 wins in conference play. Like I mentioned, they were behind against Sam Houston. They have just figured out ways to win, and that's why they're in their position they're in.
Well, in their 5 wins in conference, they were behind in all 5 of those games. and they came back and won them. And that's a tribute to what he's doing up there. I think Nathan Brown does a heck of a job. He played there. He's a quarterback there.
Yep, good player.
Then became a coordinator. Then when they switched head jobs, they moved him into that spot. So there's been a lot of continuity in that program. They recruit locally in the Central Arkansas area, Little Rock. They're going to Memphis a little bit. They'll steal a couple out of Texas if they can. But they grow their guys up. The imprint that they have and the things that they've been doing, and they've been successful for a long period of time, is to take high school kids and develop them, grow them up and develop them. And that allows the consistency to take place. So they know how to win. They figured it out. They know exactly what to do. I told the team today, it's kind of ironic that we opened up the season this year at home against the number 6 ranked team in the country. And now we're going into a huge game this week against the number 6 ranked team in the country.
Right.
Let's see how it goes.
Obviously, when you talk offensively with UCA, you have to start with their quarterback, Braylon Smith.
Yeah.
He's a very good player, nearly 3,000 yards already this year, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 316 yards per game. They want to throw the football. That's what Nathan Brown did when he was there. They threw the football around the yard. And when he got hurt last year, UCA's season kind of went down a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's a good player, and I know they have some dynamic players on the outside as well.
Yeah, I think everything goes through Braylon. He's when you watch him throw, I think what I'm really impressed about is how accurate he is throwing the football. He's got a good arm strength. He's got, his physical tools are good. But when you're able to throw a receiver where he doesn't have to break stride, he's able to continue to run with the catch. When he's able to, he anticipates windows. We got to do a really good job in the secondary, being able to jump routes and getting in front of people and trying to get him to throw us 1 or 2. But the ball comes out of his hands. He's got a lot of velocity on it, but I think his accuracy is the one thing that impresses me the most. When I was in Jacksonville, we go out and look at quarterbacks all the time, and you'd see guys that big arms and big bodies, but when they threw the football, the receiver had to stop to catch it or had to reach back to catch it. You couldn't hit him in stride, and that's not what he does. He hits these guys in stride. They got a couple of receivers, 5 and 88. 88's a true freshman that I think is really dynamic, about a 6'1", 6'2" guy that can really run long arms, really grabs the ball well. So, they do a good job. I mean, they're ranked up there in the top of the country in all offensive categories, and our defense has the work cut out for them.
All right, let's give you a couple of statistics for the fans at home. Some comparisons. Scoring offense this year in the Southland Conference. Lions are number 2 in scoring offense at 38.4 per game. Central Arkansas is number 6 at 29.4 points per game. And on defense, Central Arkansas 3rd in the league in scoring defense at 27.3 per game. Southeastern is 5th at 27.9. So pretty close right there.
Even.
Pretty evenly defensively where they have. And I'll tell you, they've been winning, like I said, they've been winning a lot of close games. If you look, they only have they're 5-1 in the league and only have a 23-point differential.
Yeah, and if you look, they score. I think they've scored. I'll get close. They scored 40 points in the first quarter this year total on all their games. After that, the second quarter, they've scored more than they did in the first quarter. The third quarter, they've scored more than they did in the second quarter. And then the fourth quarter is their highest total. They scored 99 points in the fourth quarter this season, which is a really big number, which tells you that they continue to grind all the way through the game. And you
always talk about playing 60 minutes.
You have to bring it for 60 minutes. Absolutely. You got to bring it for 60 minutes. And, so it's when I showed that to the team today, we saw some smiles in there, and it was exciting for them to see that and said, let's go.
Kind of an interesting statistic. It didn't. I had this all drawn up to talk about this week, and then they had a big win this past week. But actually, they were 4-1 in the league going into last week and had scored less points than they had given up. Wow. That's kind of a weird statistic, but they had done that because they had won some close games in the league. It's a 3:00 kickoff at in Central Arkansas.
I think 3:05, right, Kemmler? It's 3:05? Yeah, 3:05 now. Yeah.
It's on ESPN Plus, and as always, you can listen right here on the network as well. Overall series statistic, UCA leads the overall series 9-3. Lions are only 5-1 in Conway, so certainly got to try to break that trend. And then last year's game was an 8-point game. UCA got us 33-25. It was a close game. Came down to the final couple of minutes of that one. But they got us here in Hammond. Lions will be looking to reverse the script this weekend over in UCA. Let's go ahead and take our final break. When we come back, we're going to give away our giveaway. We're going to give away season tickets to Lion basketball, and we're going to get Coach's final thoughts, and we'll wrap it up here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction in Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools. for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
All right, welcome back. Just a few minutes left to go here on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction in Topla on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. An update from the University Center. Lady Lions are playing tonight. They lead 47-18 at halftime over Southern, over New Orleans. And speaking of basketball, Coach, let's go ahead and do our giveaway. We're going to give away a pair of season tickets to Lions basketball this year. So we've been doing this each and every week. We give away a prize, and Coach Scelfo is going to, for someone here in attendance,
should I talk about the clear bag policy here at Topla again from Kemmler Chapel and his fans? I've been hot on these things. Every week I've picked a winner. How about that? Every week, man. I'm rolling right now. I am rolling. Hot. All right, here we go.
Here you go.
Here we go.
See. Ali Lopez.
Oh, that's awesome. Where's she at?
You got season tickets.
Awesome.
There you go. There you go. Season tickets to Lions basketball. Congratulations. So
that's awesome. You'll love them. You'll love them.
No doubt about that. Coach, we also got a question that came in on our stream this week. So if you go to the Southeastern Sports Network, you watch, you can send in a question. And Brandon Foss said, Coach, what's your playlist you listen to before the game? What's no kind of music you listen to before the game?
I got recruits in my office. I don't listen to anything.
You're not jamming?
Huh?
You're not jamming?
No, I don't like that.
Does Joe listen to music?
I don't know.
No playlist?
I don't know.
Oh, you're recruiting. You don't have,
we working, man. I mean,
you don't have some beats out there?
Lay down and meditate or something like a kind of playlist. I don't even. You know, I know they on my phone. I mean, you could put, but I got like a 5G or something phone. I don't. We're up to the 10s and 11s. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't listen to music really. I don't.
At all?
No.
When you're cruising in your car, you're not listening.
I like probably. I don't know, Frank Sinatra maybe, some old stuff.
Sinatra's on his playlist before the game.
I do. They got a Frank Sinatra station on my truck on its Sirius, and I do that one. That's I don't listen to much music. I don't know. Sometimes people just say too much.
Big game this weekend. Lions are on the road at UCA. 3 o'clock kickoff, 3:05 at Estes Stadium over. It's supposed to be cold. I think the high is like 45 degrees, so it's going to be cold up there. So
it's going to be beautiful.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous football weather. We're weatherproof, Alan. We don't care.
You haven't been up there. What do you
Hot,
think about those stripes on?
I haven't seen that before. It's different.
Yeah,
it's different.
certainly.
I don't know.
Is it hard to watch the tape?
It's just different. I played in Boise, and so up in Boise, the field was blue, and they were the blue uniforms. You really couldn't tell anything. So that was probably the weirdest field I played on, and then this one I'll be interested to see how this one looks. We
got a couple of questions. I'm glad that they brought this up because I meant to bring it up earlier. Talk about the fake punt this week with Isaac, and did y'all give him any? I mean, he got caught. He didn't get caught. He got tackled. I think he got tired. Now Isaac disputes that. I think he got tired. We had it on, and we've had it on multiple times this year, but we got to get the look. It's got to be a certain look that you can run it against. And Isaac's like our quarterback back there on the punt team, so he makes the calls for us as to whether we're going to rugby kick or directional kick, and he'll make the calls, change the protections, things like that. And we got the look that we needed. And Ross Jenkins does a super job every week coming up with, stuff to do. And so we got that look that we needed, and Isaac made the call, and we did a great job. TJ blocked down, Tanano blocked out on two guys, really, which sprung Isaac. And then he looked pretty good running the ball.
He looked real. He just carried the ball in his right arm, which he's supposed to carry it in his left arm, but he said, I felt more comfortable. And he plays defensive line, Alan. What are you going to do? I'm not going to teach him that in one day. But he was so excited, man. Everybody was fired up, but he caught a lot of
grief?
Yeah, he got crushed by letting the little punt returner cut him down.
Coach, we got just a couple of minutes left. Certainly a big game this week. I know someone asked you this at your press conference today, and I thought it was a good question. I'd pass it along here as you prepare the play the same way every week, but obviously some of the outside noise. I mean, the players knows what's on the line this week. It's certainly an opportunity to bring those guys back to the pack. Your final thoughts of the night and how you'll prepare your team this week.
Yeah, it's and we talk about it. It is 1 week at a time, and we forget what happened this past Saturday. We move on to the next opponent, and it happens to be UCA, and we're going to have the same situation next week at this time. We know what we have to do from a preparation standpoint. We know that during the course of the week we have to put everything in place and do the things we need to do. Today was a good practice. I was really pleased to see that there wasn't a letdown. I think there is some heightened awareness that's taking place, but I don't want them to go out there and say this week we got to really play hard because it's a big game. Well, shoot, all of them are big. It's not 1 week that we go into and say, okay, guys, I want y'all to take a break this week. Now, this is not that big a game. We don't go into those games. So we prepare. There's a process that we go through each week and a routine that we stay into with our players, and we trust that at the end we're going to get the results and the outcome that we want. And we're doing the same thing this week. They know what's at stake. Everybody, they see it. They talk to people. And what that does is help you when you're having really high highs and when you're having really low lows. That's not what you want out of your football team. You're going to have some great plays. You're going to have some bad plays. But what you don't want to do is you'd like to have great days, but you don't want any bad days. So you want to be consistently good for an extended period of time. And that's what we're looking to do with our program, to have that consistency throughout for our 11, 12-game season. And I think we're doing that right now. We've been pretty good all year long from a consistency standpoint, being in games, doing the things that we need to do to have a chance to win in the end. And we don't always do it, but we're doing those things, and our players are trusting that process. So our preparation this week's not going to change. We're not going to do anything differently. We're not going to put in all kind of new gadgety stuff on either side of the ball. We're going to do what we do, study our film, and trust that what we do during the course of the week puts us on par on Saturday.
There you have it. Lions and the Bears this Saturday, 3:05 kickoff. We're completely out of time. For Coach Frank Scelfo, I'm Alan Waddell. We'll see you next time on Inside Southeastern Football with Frank Scelfo, presented as always by Louisiana First Choice Auto Auction and Topli on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. Line up, everybody.
Line up.
Broadcasts on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network are a product of Lion Sport Properties. For more information on how you can support future broadcasts, Lion Sport Properties is available at area code 985-549-2570.